In the dictionary under beautiful day, it says see May 7th, 2021, because that is what we're looking at right now, ladies and gentlemen. You're joining us just as the visiting Los Altos Eagles have put their first batter at the plate for the first out. He's just gotten out in this contest between the visiting Eagles and the Mountain View Spartans. This is Mike Messner. I'll be giving you all the action. As I said, their first batter just went down looking, if I'm not mistaken. The standings for this division, you can see Palo Alto still undefeated. Homestead, Mountain View, and Los Gatos in a tie for second place. And then Wilcox, Cupertino, and Los Altos so far not having a whole lot of luck. Interestingly enough, the scoring tends to favor Los Altos in terms of actual runs scored per game. It does tend to be favoring Los Altos, about 9.1 runs to 7.8 per game. These two teams faced off 2 days ago, and Mountain View came out on top on that one, 10-3. And that's part of the reason you have the standings that I showed you a moment ago. People to watch out for Los Altos, you're going to watch for Gabriel Gicale, who's actually one of my students and is leading the team in batting average with a .667. Aaron Parker, also important to watch, with the leading on-base percentage of about .810. Mountain View, your man is Corey Wang. He's leading in batting average, on-base percentage, slugging, and fielding. And 2 down very quickly for Mountain View. The starting pitcher for the Spartans is Gabe Barrett. He's had 11 wins and 2 losses. He's had 25 appearances. And he has faced 338 batters since he has been a member of the varsity Spartans. Aaron Parker up now. 2 outs. That's in there for a strike. Aaron also does some pitching. He's a senior. This is his 4th year on the varsity, and he's also on the football team for Los Altos. That one very high. He also, Aaron, is the only member of the Eagles varsity team to have hit a grand slam. So, although that's not going to happen this time, it is something for Mountain View to keep an eye on. That one's a little outside. Beautiful day, as I said earlier. It's probably 76 degrees, not a cloud in the sky. That's in there for a strike, and that's going to, I think, fill the count now. Los Altos' first 2 batters went down very quickly. I don't think they got anything on the ball. Swing and a miss, and the side is retired. So, no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. We've played half an inning, and it is Los Altos nothing, the Spartans coming to bat. The man you're looking at is Aiden Brenner. He is the starting pitcher for the Los Altos Eagles. He's got a 2.28 ERA, a win-loss record of 4-1. He's made 7 appearances. This is his 6th game where he's started. He's pitched a little over 30 innings. And the batting average of everyone who's come up against him, if you add it all up and divide it the right way, is 205. In all that time, Aiden has thrown exactly 1 wild pitch. So, you could say that Los Altos is putting its best foot forward in the bottom of the first inning. Leadoff man for the Spartans is number 4. That's Nathaniel Harris. He's got a .339 batting average. He's hit 6 doubles, 4 triples, and has cleared the fences for 1, but he also knows how to hit sacrifices and do sacrifice bunts. He's also very, very fast. You get him on base, he will steal a pitch. He's done it 33 times. And hits that one deep to center, but the fielder is right there, 1 away. 1 pitch, 1 out. And that'll bring up Trace Thompson, an outfielder with a .379 average. On-base percentage of .500. He's a senior. This is his 2nd year on the varsity. That one very high, ball 1. Trace Thompson's also got a slugging of .620. And he's only been at bat 29 times on the varsity. And has hit the ball 11 times, including 2 doubles and a triple and 1 home run. That one's in there for a strike. 2-1 the count. That one very low, and that'll bring it to 3-1. And he got a piece of that one, and that'll bring it to a full count of 3-2. Aiden Brenner, the starting pitcher, he's got 32 strikeouts to his name. And he has also pitched a save. So here comes the payoff pitch. Very high, and he's aboard. And the batter is John Founds. John Founds, when he's playing defense, can be found at either shortstop or third base. He's got a .388 average. On-base percentage of .442. And Los Altos manager is being told to put the chair in the dugout. Don't know if that was a social distancing issue or not, but in any case. Here comes Aiden's delivery. And throw to first. Runner's able to get back without too much trouble. That's Trace Thompson. Trace has stolen 9 bases, so that concern is somewhat warranted, and there it goes again. Taking a pretty decent lead off there. A lot of noise coming from the Mountain View bench. That one's high. Ball 1. John Founds has hit 2 sacrifice flies. He's also been hit by a pitch, and he's struck out 10 times. And that time, Aiden was looking to pick him off. Aiden has never picked off a runner on base. That one's a little outside, so that'll be 2 balls and no strikes. Mountain View does outscore its opponents in the first inning, and they're, although not quite in scoring position yet, but they're certainly further along than Los Altos did. There's a fly out to left, And it's caught, and there's 2 away. That'll bring up Gabe Barrett, who was also the starting pitcher for the Spartans. As a hitter, Gabe's got a .246 average. He's hit 7 doubles and 3 triples. Struck out 36 times. He's walked 15 times and an on-base percentage of .355. That one's a little high there. Aiden's been throwing outside of the strike zone for the first pitch of every batter so far. That one's also a little high. I don't have Gabe Barrett's height, but it does not look from this angle as if he's got a particularly small strike zone. So this is Aiden needing to focus a little bit more, and that one's in there. Swing and a miss. 2 balls, 1 strike. Runner on first. There's 2 outs. We're in the bottom of the first inning. And safe, although Aiden thought he might have picked him off there. As I said before, Brenner has never picked a man off base, but there's a first time for everything. And he got a piece of that one. That'll even the count at 2-2. Thompson taking his lead. Very high, and there goes Thompson. And he is safe. Stolen base by Trace Thompson. And that is the 10th base that Trace has stolen as a varsity player. And it will be one of the last because he is a senior. 3-2. There goes Thompson. And caught looking, and the side is retired. So no runs, no hits. There was a walk and a stolen base. 1 person left. And that's the 10th time that Trace has been stranded on base. We'll go to the second. There's no score. You can see that there's a pretty decent crowd for a pandemic and a Friday afternoon out here to see this game. And see a lot of masks, and that's what we want to see during a pandemic. Vaccinations notwithstanding, we're doing pretty well in our county, but better safe than sorry. Coming to the top of the second here. Gabe Barrett continuing to pitch for the Spartans. And your batter is Aiden Brenner, so it's pitcher versus pitcher here. Swing and a miss on that one. Aiden does have a .312 batting average. He's got 44 hits, 28 RBIs, and 4 home runs. Slugging is .524, so not a bad slash count for him. And that one's in there for a strike, so very quickly 0-2. Aiden batting right-handed. And that one just missed. 1-2. Straight hit, and that is a base hit. So he's got himself a single. And the Eagles have their first And Aiden went for second there and steamed in. So he got himself a double after all of that. That's his 17th double since being on the varsity. And for the first time tonight or this afternoon, the Eagles have a runner in scoring position. And your batter is Nick Tang, who's mostly an infielder but has been known to do pitching from time to time. That one's a little bit outside. Nick's got a .422 batting average. Has never hit a sac fly, but a slugging average of .555. Batting left hand. Swing and a miss. Kind of chasing that one. Now they're going to have a brief meeting out at the mound. Nick Teng is a junior. This is his second year on the varsity. 45 at-bats and has struck out 3 times. Has not hit a triple, has not hit a home run. If and when Nick takes the mound, I'll share with you some of his numbers for pitching. And now an attempt to pick off, and that ball kind of dribbled away from the second baseman, but quickly recovered by the center fielder. I think that may have been Billy Peer at second base. 1-1 the count. And a bunt, and that's popped up right over the pitcher's head. And that would have invoked the infield fly rule, I think. But in any case, now the Eagles have men at first and second with the bunt. Nick had never done a sacrifice bunt, but he didn't have to sacrifice anything, so he's aboard. So good things do happen. John O'Sullivan now the batter. John's a junior. This is his first year on the varsity, batting average of .250. That one's in there for a strike. Both runners taking leads out there. Swing and a miss. So now he's down 0-2. This is the first time we've seen Gabe out of the stretch today. Gabe Barrett. That one's a little high. Now you're hearing some noise from the Los Altos bench. It's to be expected. And an attempt there to pick off the runner, Aiden Brenner. Brenner back safely. That's in there for a strike. And one away. Adam Stothard, student of mine, current student of mine. Adam's got a batting average of 115, but he does have a home run, and he has walked 5 times. Now throwback to first. Nick flopped in the dirt there, but he was back safely. one's very high. One and 0 the count according to the stadium scoreboard. That one's in there. Adam is looking at that one. Adam has struck out 8 times, and he's been hit by a pitch twice. Swing and a miss, and he was chasing a very high delivery there. One and 2. And that one just a little bit missed to the left of the pitcher. So that brings it up to 2 and 2. Gabe being very careful. Here he comes. Swing and a miss. And Stothard is down. And there are 2 away. That'll bring up Rowan Sims, who's a utility fielder and also known to take the mound from time to time with a very low ERA. And a throw back to first, and they got him. They got him. So great throw and great attentiveness there by the Spartans. So we had no runs, 2 hits, and 2 men left. Headed to the bottom of the second, no score here at Mountain View. Back here for the bottom of the second inning here at Mountain View High School. Your batter is Nate Bonfilio, the first baseman. He's got a .500 batting average and a slugging average of .555. And that's in there for a strike. Good low, and it looked like a slider. And that one is well hit and well foul. That'll bring it to 0 and 2. Someone in the stands remarked that, we don't have any score yet, and that's true, which is unusual. Usually we would have had a couple of runs on the board by both teams, but neither one has managed to get a runner past second so far. That one is low and away. Nate too smart to chase that one. Nate has never hit a home run, but he does have 4 doubles. And that one's out of play. Popped into right, and long run, and that is going to get past, and he's headed for second. Make that headed for third. And the relay is coming in too late. And so Nate Bonfilio with his first triple. And Mountain View has a man in scoring position. So that was not a pop-up. That was actually very well hit. And that'll bring up Ethan Haug. Don't have a whole lot of numbers on Ethan. He has scored 1 run. He's a senior. This is his first year on the varsity. No, I beg your pardon. That is not. That is Chase Yoakum. I only saw the one. It's Yoakum. And that one will be a souvenir. So Yoakum has got a .458 average. 7 RBIs, and he might be looking for his 8th right now with 2 doubles and a .541 slugging average. So now Aiden operating out of the stretch. And that one's a little low, but The catcher did well to hold on to that one, knowing that there is a speedster at third base. That one's also low. That brings it to 2-1. Aiden's trying too hard to play a game of deception right now, I think. That one's high, so he overcompensated on that one, and that brings it to 3-1. So runners at the corners is what we may be looking at here. And that one is in there. Okay, Chase looked like he was off to first base, and the umpire said, no, not quite. And that one's in there, and a strikeout. So great recovery there. Coming back from a 3-1 count by Aiden Brenner. And there's one away. There is still a runner at third. And your batter is Liam Barrett. Liam does a lot of catching for the Spartans. He's also been known to take a turn in the outfield. And he asks for time. Liam's got a .286 batting average. He's been at bat 21 times. This is his first year on the varsity, and Liam is a freshman. Nice hit, and that will bring the runner home. And Mountain View's on the board. And Liam Barrett's got himself a single. That's his 7th hit and his 7th RBI. And the Spartans have a 1-0 lead. And that one kind of went into the dirt. Good attempt there at cutting off the runner. Liam has stolen a couple of bases, so he's not the fastest, but there's still a threat there. And we got a 1-0 count. That looks like Ken Pan at the plate. Ken's got a .500 batting average. And he's going for the bunt. And they're going to get the guy at second. Do they turn the double play? They do. And the side is retired. Nicely done and great coverage there by Aiden. So, the Spartans are gone, but they do take the lead in this, or Aiden Brenner helping to turn that double play. We're headed to the top of the third. It's Spartans 1, Eagles nothing. We go to the top of the third here at Los Altos High School. Rowan Sims coming out to bat now for the Eagles, who are now down a run after a nice, small, but still nice rally by the Spartans there in the bottom of the second. Liam's got a .267 average, and he rolls that one foul. Rowan's a sophomore. This is his first year on the varsity. He has hit the ball 4 times. 2 of those have gone for RBIs. He has not been walked. And there's a swing and a miss, and he's down in the count. 2 pitches, 2 strikes. And Rowan sent back after striking out. So 1 down. Cole Rafferty is your batter now. Cole's a junior. This is also his first year on the varsity. Slugging .500, batting average of .292, and 1 home run. And that one came in a little high and a little off. I wanted a second opinion, but no, that's still going to go down as a ball. That one's in there for a strike. In the third inning, both teams have scoring averages that go down. However, this is defying the law of averages because Los Altos does tend to do better. And what just happened here? Okay, so there's a little bit of confusion about whether or not that would go down as a balk, and apparently the umpires had a conversation about it, and so no. So we're back to Cole Rafferty with a 1-2 count. That one's a little high. Heard a satisfying grunt there from Gabe Barrett. And swing and a miss. And this time Rafferty's gone. And there are 2 away. It's second or the third maybe strikeout. And that one's going to be fouled back. Your batter is Stuart Cash. Stewart's a sophomore. This is his first year on the varsity. And he got a piece of that one. So now 0-2. Stewart's got an average of .250. 11 hits, 2 doubles. And that one is in there, and the side is retired. 3 up, 3 down. And after what might have been an unforced error on the part of the Spartans, they managed to hold their lead, and they managed to keep the Eagles off base. We'll head to the bottom of the third, 1-0 Mountain View. Believe me, that sky is a welcome sight for everybody here, as it's a springtime sky, and it's also a reminder of what the sky looked like and looks like when there's not wildfires going on. Some of our viewers will remember that this past autumn, while the virus was raging out of control, we also had wildfires all over Northern California. So it was a dark day in more ways than one for a lot of the West Coast. But here we are, it's May, and we got clear skies, and we got baseball again. Your hitter is Shota Fletcher. He's an outfielder and a utility player. He's a junior. It's his first year on the varsity, and he's got a batting average of .636. Let's see what he can do. And it looked like he was squaring around to bunt. He fouls that one back. Shota has never done a sacrifice bunt since he's been on the varsity. He has hit the ball 7 times this year, and he's got a slugging average of .818. And that one's in there for a strike. So Shota now down with a pitch and a foul. That one very high, and I'll bring it to 1-2. It fouls that one off past the third base line. Still 1-2. And that one just missed. 2-2. And swung on that, and it was dropped, but it was easily thrown out there. Good coverage by the catcher, and there's one away. Taking his stretches now, getting ready to come to the plate, is number 4, and that is Nathaniel Harris. We've seen Nathaniel before today. Left-handed batter. He's been on the varsity for 4 years. Maybe I mentioned that earlier. And that one's in there for a strike. That one right in there for a strike. And Nathaniel didn't like that one at all. So he's going to take a little walk and think about it. Nathaniel with a .339 batting average, or coming into this game he had one. He's hit the ball 59 times in 4 years. So he's probably not used to being down 2 strikes this quickly. And that one was in the dirt. And it'll bring it to a 1-2 count. Spring sports have sprung all over Mountain View High. As I walked in today, the lacrosse team was getting ready to practice. They're practicing now. And hit into center field, and that one's going to fall. And Nathaniel's got himself a single. And that is his 60th hit as a member of the Mountain View Spartans. And there is 1 on and 1 away. Your batter is Trace Thompson. We saw Trace before. He did steal a base in the first inning, but then it went for nothing. He was left stranded. And there's a throw over to first, trying to pick off Shota. Or not Shota, but Nathaniel Harris, I beg your pardon. And another throw, and that one went into the dirt. Every time Aiden throws that one over to first, my fear is that it is going to end up getting between the legs of the first baseman. That's Adam Stothard over there playing first, and that it will head into a dugout, and you'll give a free 90 feet to the runner. Thompson up. There's still no count yet. Chase goes, and there's no throw. Catcher kind of bobbled that one. And that's going to be counted as a ball. So double whammy for the Eagles there. As again, Aiden's having to play out of the stretch here. And pivots and looks like he's going to throw, but just driving Trace back there. That's the second steal that Trace has pulled off today. That one hit deep into right field, and coming over to make the catch, Trace is going to tag and head for third, and he'll be in easily. That's John Founds. And that one's high. There are 2 outs. And that one's in there for a strike. 1-1. Well, the only thing we're missing at this game is a snack shack. Probably closed due to COVID. And that one, slider in there, and that one totally fooled Founds, and so, or it confounded Founds, if you will. And so 1-2 is your count. That one's a little low. So that evens the count, 2-2. I don't know how many times Trace Thompson has stolen home. I don't know how likely that is at this point. That one's hit off foul. Founds taking a little bit of a walk there. Two and two. And did he go around? He did. And Los Altos gets out of trouble after a threat at a second run, complete with a double and then tagging up. We still have a 1-0 game at the end of 3 innings. We'll be back. That was the first pitch of the top of the 4th inning, and it was tipped off the bat of Colby Cook, number 13 there, as the Spartans continue to hold a 1-0 lead. Now Colby backs off. Colby also on the football team for these Los Altos Eagles. And that one's in there for a strike. 0-2. Colby's got a .298 batting average. And that one's into center field. Long run there, but the second baseman drops back and he'll make the catch. 1 away. Aaron Parker, now the Eagle batter. Aaron also on the football team. He has been on this varsity team for 4 years. And he's been at bat coming into this game. He had been to bat 226 times. That one skied foul. I think I mentioned earlier, Aaron has 1 grand slam, but he's also got 3 sacrifice flies. And he knows how to sacrifice bunt. Not necessary now. And that one gets past the third baseman, and he's got himself a single. That one kind of played a bit carelessly there by the Mountain View third baseman. Thought it would be a routine play. Turned out it wasn't. So Aaron's got his 99th hit right there. And your hitter is Aiden Brenner. And that one looked a little high, but counted as a strike. The Spartans have committed one error in this game so far. No errors for the Eagles. And that one's hit into center field. Again, another long run, and that one's going to fall. And now they got runners at first and second. So Aiden's got himself a hit with one out. And threatening. Nick Tang now batting for the Eagles. Nick's a junior. And that ball very nearly went out into center field. Nick has never hit a sacrifice. That one's fouled off. Oh, 0-1. Good pitch, but just a little bit high. And so that'll bring the count to 1-1. Nick steps out. Now he's back in. Nick's got 17 RBIs. He might be looking for one or two more at this at-bat. And now back to second. A little bit more accurate that time than it had been before. And that one dinked, and that may go down. I don't know if that was an intentional sacrifice, but it did advance the runners. So now you've got runners at second and third with two out. And I don't know if that'll be scored as a sacrifice bunt or not. My sense is it won't. And now we're all going to have a little bit of a powwow. So we'll step aside while they sort it all out. We'll be back. So Mountain View figuring out their next move, and Los Altos' next move is to send John O'Sullivan to the plate. John, a junior. I've seen him play on the football team. And that one's in there for a strike. As Gabe trying to sort of assert himself again, playing out of the stretch. John has hit one home run. And now Gabe Barrett taking a quick chat with the umpire. And that one just a little high, ball one. Gabe does not want to walk the bases loaded. And swing and a miss. And he went back to that high fastball, and that was something that John paid the price for. He chased it. 1-2. That one's high. And the catcher's telling him, hey, bring it down, bring it down. So we got a 2-2 count now. Swing and a miss. And Gabe Barrett gets out of trouble. So, no runs, couple of hits, 2 men left. And we're headed to the bottom of the 4th inning. It's still 1-0 Mountain View. We're back. It's the bottom of the 4th inning. And Gabe Barrett is your batter. We've still got a 1-0 lead in favor of the Mountain View Spartans. Although Los Altos has been threatening, they have not been able to get a run in. And that last inning was a clinic, if you will, put on by Gabe Barrett in how to get out of trouble, striking out John O'Sullivan to end the inning. And that one, I think he looked at and then pulled back on, so it's 1-0. That one's hit into right field, and that one's going to fall. And he's going to go to second. Are they going to be able to cut him off? It doesn't look like it. So that is Gabe's 30th hit as a Spartan and his 8th double, if that can be scored as a double. I didn't see if it'd be counted as an error, but the scoreboard isn't indicating that it is. And that one's hit down the third base line. That's Nate Bonfilio. Long throw. And I think they got Nate. But the runner does advance. So Gabe Barrett at third, 1 out. Chase Yoakum, your batter. And that one's a little low, ball 1. Chase also plays football for Mountain View Spartans. This is his 2nd year on the varsity. He is known to do a sacrifice bunt, but didn't square around that time. That one is skied. It's out of play, but are they going to try to make a play for it? They are, and they do make the catch. 2 away. Well, that'll bring up Liam Barrett. This is his 2nd appearance. He's had a hit and an RBI so far tonight. And that one's high. One also very high. So high the catcher almost had to jump for that one. He's telling Aiden, hey man, I left my stilts at home. And that one's hit into center field. And the fielder's there. No, no. And the umpire is calling it out. Or is he? Well, 2 away. The fielder did drop that one. And Liam is aboard. Now Ken Pan, your hitter. So runners The runner did come in, so you got a 2-0 lead now for the Spartans. That fielder had it and dropped it. And that's one he would just as soon forget, and I don't blame him. Another throw, and that one does get away. And as I predicted, Liam is at second. And that will probably be scored as an error if it isn't scored already. And so you got runners at the corners, and Los Altos is going to have a team meeting. We'll let them do that. We'll take a break ourselves. We'll be right back. Back here at Mountain View High School, we have 2 outs. We have a 1-0 count and a runner at second. And the Spartans have got themselves a 2-0 lead. And that one very high. That'll be a 2-0 count. And this is not an inning that Aiden is going to remember fondly. Aiden Brenner, the junior pitcher. That one's a swing and a miss. Yeah, let's see it. So here was that dropped ball. And the fielder had it and just never quite had control of it. So that is have a 2-0 game instead of a 1-0 game because it was bobbled and then dropped. And if that wasn't scored as an error, then the overthrow to get Liam was. That one's tipped foul. Count is 2-2. Ken Pan still hitting. And that one's also going to be skied foul. Very high pitch. Ken probably didn't have to go for that one. Ken with a batting average of 500. He's had 7 hits, 5 RBIs. So the caution that Aiden is taking is well deserved. And it's hitting the right, deep, but the fielder is there. He holds onto it, and the side is retired. So the Spartans do get a run on a couple of hits. Okay, they've now got 4 hits in the game. There was 1 man left. We're headed to the 5th inning. It's 2-0 Mountain View. We go to the top of the 5th inning here at Mountain View High School. And Mountain View, in building on its lead there in the 4th inning, partially on a bobbled ball by the center fielder of Los Altos that let a run come in. And now Los Altos facing a 2-run deficit. The batter is Adam Stothard. And Adam, this one is a long run. It is fouled. And he is headed to second, so it may have been, and he's going to be called out. So probably they mishandled the foul ball there, but Adam decided to go for broke, and he paid for it. 1 away, and your batter is Rowan Sims. that one just a little bit low. I don't know what Rowan's height is, but he does seem like a fairly tall drink of water there. And he hits this one hard into right field, but the fielder is there to pick it up. And just like that, we got 2 outs. So the Los Altos offense right now, you could say, is kind of sputtering. They have had put men on base, but they haven't been able to score any runs yet. And Cole Rafferty is your batter. And Cole takes a strike straight in there. And that one's low. Gabe Barrett not wasting any time. And that one's in there. So 1-2 the count. And just like that. And Cole Rafferty just wondering what happened. Well, what happened is that the side is retired. Okay, no runs, no hits, nobody left. We're headed to the bottom of the 5th. It's 2-0 Mountain View. Headed to the bottom of the 5th, and Mountain View so far is silencing Los Altos, although Los Altos has managed to crank out 4 hits, the same as Mountain View. They have not been able to get anybody across the plate. So Mountain View looking to build on that lead in the form of Shota Fletcher. Shota, this is his first year on the varsity. He is a junior. And lines this one, well, not lines, but hits it into left field. 1 pitch, 1 out. Number 4 is Nathaniel Harris. But maybe we got that name wrong. Let me check here. Called strike. He didn't like that one much. Swing and a miss. And he's getting a little eager now. Doesn't want his temper to get the best of him here. And that one very high. Harris kind of doing a little bit of a shuffle step right there. Aiden Brenner still pitching for Los Altos. That is the 68th pitch that Aiden has thrown today. Should be good for a little bit more, but he is still down. He's given up 4 hits and 2 runs. And that one's tipped foul, and that'll fly out of the stands. And that one's in there. Struck him out. 2 away. And that's frustrating to say the least. And your batter is Trace Thompson. Trace has stolen 2 bases today, and I think he is down. I think he's hit the ball now 12 times in his 2 years on the varsity, counting today's performance. just a little bit off. And he got a piece of that one. So that'll bring the count to 1-1 now. And that one's in the dirt. That'll be 2-1. Trace is a senior. This is his second year on the varsity. I think I mentioned that. And he'll get a piece of that one, and that'll be a souvenir for somebody on the lacrosse team. As you can see, there is, or maybe you can't see, but there is construction going on at Mountain View High School right now, just as there is at Los Altos in the next town over. New classrooms for new students as this district does continue to grow. And that's a ground ball, and that's through the, no, it's going to be picked up and might be a little late for the throw, and he's going to be safe. Trace is aboard, and that means we might be looking at an attempt to steal. So the infield going to have a quick conversation, but we'll keep it here. As Aiden Brenner is warned, hey, this guy's gotten steals off you before, so watch it. 2 out, 1 on. Your batter is John Founds. And that one thrown over to Adam Stothard, the first baseman. And back again to Stothard, and this time they think they got him. Did they? And the umpire says no. Los Altos, I think, wants to get out of this because they realize that if you have Thompson aboard, he can move. Slider right in there. Or that may have been a curveball, actually. 0-1 the count. Thompson walking off first. And now throw again. And again, back safely. We have a 1-1 count now. John Founds at base, or up to bat. And that one tried to go in there with pitch that just missed. Just a little wide of the plate. And that one is in there. So that's a 2-2. That evens the count now at 2-2. Thompson not going to be running this time, or at least he's not taking a lead. And another attempt to get Chase picked off. Still not quite fast enough. Aiden Brenner has yet to pick off a runner. Delivery now, he goes. And waiting for the signal. And it looks like Trace is safe, so he's stolen another base. And Los Altos can't believe it. Three bases stolen by Trace Thompson. And Gabe Stewart is out to talk to the umpire. And although the conversation seems to be pretty peaceful, they're definitely not maintaining social distance. Here goes Gabe. Gabe Stewart's a social studies teacher at Los Altos High School. I'm proud to call him my colleague. And John Founds facing a full count. And Aiden Brenner paying out of the stretch. Here's the payoff pitch. And it's hit well. And that one is going to bring home Trace Thompson. John Founds has got himself a double, and it's 3-0 Mountain View. As Aiden Brenner, and his pitch count's not getting any smaller. And that one misses. John Founds on second. Gabe Barrett at the plate. And that one low, and that one almost got away from the catcher. Aiden not known for wild pitches, but his pitch count is getting up there. 83 now. And that one does get away. And there's a free 90 feet for John Founds. And I don't know how they're going to score that one. Whether that's going to be a wild pitch or a passed ball. And now, Gabe Barrett has taken a base. And it turns out he was hit by a pitch, and that is the 6th time that has happened to him since joining the varsity. So now runners at the corners for Mountain View. And it looks like they may be making a lineup change. Nate Bonfilio at the plate. That one missed very high. Nate had a triple earlier tonight. As Los Altos is just trying to get out of this without any more damage being done. And that one's in there for a strike. This, I would wager, is the last inning for Aiden Brennan. That one's high. 3-0. That, I don't believe that is correct. I think it's a 3-1 count. And that one's hit very high. And Aiden will get the catch, and the side is retired. But Mountain View continues to build its lead. They have scored in 2 out of the last 3 innings, and they've got a 3-run lead as we head to the top of the 6th. We'll be back. It's the top of the 6th inning here at Mountain View High School as the Spartans have opened up a 3-0 lead over the Eagles. Stuart Cash is your batter. Stuart, I think this is the 2nd time we've seen him tonight. It's his first year on the varsity, and he is a sophomore. And he grounds that to third, easily over to first base, 1 out. And that'll bring up Colby Cook. We have seen Colby a time or 2 before this afternoon. And that one gets away. 1-0. Gabe continuing to pitch for the Spartans. And that one went into the dirt, and it's 2-0. Colby Cook, I was just looking at his height. He is 6'2". And that is, he is the second tallest member of this Los Altos Eagles squad. John O'Sullivan is 6'3". And now it's a 3-1 count. Swing and a miss. Bringing the count to 3-2. Colby has struck out. He gets a piece of that one. Good pitch, but he stays alive. And he gets a piece of that one, and that one will head off somewhere into the stratosphere. Here's the payoff pitch. That one is in there, and Colby goes down looking. 2 down here in the 6th. Aaron Parker now coming up to bat. Aaron is an infielder and a pitcher and a catcher, not simultaneously, of course. And he skies this one into shallow left field, and that's easily caught, and the side is retired. 3 up, 3 down. Los Altos still can't get it going, and that was their next to last time at bat in terms of regulation. We'll be back for the bottom of the 6th in just a second. We're back here at Mountain View High School. There is a new Eagle pitcher, and that is number 2, Nick Tang. So Nick has only made 2 appearances before tonight, so this is his 3rd appearance since joining the varsity last year. He's pitched just over 2 innings, ERA of 15. He has 4 strikeouts to his credit, and he has never walked a batter. But that was a pretty nightmarish last inning there for his predecessor, Aiden Brenner, who started off well this afternoon, but then progressively got into more and more trouble with runners being on and steals being gotten off him. So let's see what Nick can do here in the bottom of the 6th. Your batter is Matt Waldbusser. This is the first time we've seen Matt tonight. Not very much on him, except his on-base percentage we know is a .231. And that one's wide, ball 1. Matt is a senior. This is his 2nd year on the varsity. And that one's low. And that one also low. And I think Nick wanted a strike on that one. That one's in there for a strike, and that brings the count to 3-1. And that one's hitting the hole. No, cut off by the 3rd baseman. Long, hard throw, but no, not in time. And that is Matt Waldbusser's first hit since joining the varsity. So good on you, Matt. Liam Barrett, who is a very familiar face to our audience this afternoon. He's gotten hits and a hit and an RBI today. And he's going to be a fixture for this Spartan team for the next 3 years. And he gets a piece of that one, and that one chased, and they do make the catch. So 1 away. Liam is retired. And your batter is Justin Vanancini. His first appearance this evening. It's his first year on the varsity. He's also on the basketball team for Mountain View, and he is a junior. He's been at bat twice, and he's gotten a hit twice. And the ball thrown over to first base. And that one's in there for a strike at the shoulders. 0-1 the count. And that one missed just a little bit. Might have been trying for a changeup there. Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes with 1 runner at first and 1 out. Nick Tang, your Eagle pitcher. And Justin fouled that one off. Another attempt to pick off. Nick, like his predecessor, has never picked a runner off base. And that one's high, and the catcher was about to throw it, but the runner thought a little bit better of his steal. And it's a 2-2 count. And that one's hit, and that's going to be a single. Base hit, and that'll bring 2 runners up, and Nick Tang playing out of the stretch here in the bottom of the 6th inning with 1 out. And the batter is John Bowers. And that's in there for a strike. This is John's first appearance with us. John Bowers is 6'1". Only one player on his team, and that one bounces in the dirt. Catcher was able to get a hold of it. Only one player taller than John. John's got a 176 average. He's a senior. It's his 2nd year on the varsity. And thought he went around on that one, but no. 2-1. Runners at first and second. That one skied into center field. It's caught, and is the runner going to tag? I don't think he is. No. So that should have 2 away. And number 4, whom I have down as Nathaniel Harris, but maybe somebody else. Swing and a miss. That's been a big deal for him. And that one is chopped. Is it fair? And that is called foul. That went out just to the left of first base. Trace Thompson in the what amounts to the on-deck circle. And that one slashed foul. Managed to bring a lot of power to that one, but not in play as the runners return. Nick turning around, trying to keep the runners in check, as Los Altos is going to have its work cut out for it in the top of the 7th. which will be their last regulation at bat, trying to overcome a 3-run lead. And that one hits straight to the second baseman. He does get it over there, and that'll retire the side. So, no more damage done, but Los Altos, as I was just saying, now facing down. They need 3 runs to tie, 4 runs to take the lead, and we'll see what they do when we come back. So, back at Mountain View High School, this is Los Altos' last chance to try to make an impact. They're down 3. It is the top of the 7th inning. And Aiden Brenner at bat. And that one's thrown straight in for a strike. Gabe Barrett is still pitching for the Spartans. He's only thrown 74 pitches. So a very efficient outing so far. That one's low. So that'll bring up a 1-1 count. From here, Los Altos will be playing Homestead on Monday. That one is going to be out of play, I think. Out from where I can see, out of my line of vision. But so they will be playing at Homestead on Monday. For the Spartans, they'll be playing here against Palo Alto next Wednesday. That'll be Wednesday the 12th. And that will be it for Aiden Brenner. Nick Teng, who just took over the pitching duties, is now your batter with 1 away. And he rips that one foul. 0-1. Nick was able to get a bunt that looped right over Gabe's head there and landed in between first and second. That was probably not intended to be a sacrifice bunt, but Max Preps may score it that way. We'll see. And that one's in there for a strike, and that brings it to 1-2. High and fast, and that one didn't quite get into the strike zone, so it's 2-2 now. And Nick got a piece of that one, so he'll face another pitch. Swing and a miss, but it was dropped by the catcher, and so he's on his way. And no place to go. 2 down. That was an alert play there by Nick, but didn't come to anything. And coming up, John O'Sullivan for what may be the last gasp of the Los Altos Eagles this afternoon. That one's in there for a strike. And that one very wide. I think Gabe might have been trying to throw that sidearm there. That's pitch number 85 for him. That one's hit into center, and it's going to fall. So John's got himself a hit there. That's his 4th hit. And the Eagles refuse to go quietly. Coming up to bat now is Adam Stothard, who's been playing first base for the Eagles. And Blake Brinsfield will be pinch hitting, or pinch running, I should say. Blake was my student once upon a time. That one high. Ball one. And that one fought off and hit down the third base line, foul. So now the Eagles down to their last pitch. And that one's in there. So now they're down to their last pitch. 1-2. And that one wide. Not quite a pitch out there, but wanting to keep the Eagle runner over there, Blake Brinsfield, from taking off. That one lifted, and they're going to make a run for that. I think it may be out of play, and it is. Two and two here in the top of the seventh. Oh, swing and a miss, and the ball game is over. As Gabe Barrett goes the distance and shuts out the Los Altos Eagles by a score of 3-0. The specific breakdown for the Spartans: 3 runs, 8 hits, and 1 error. For the Los Altos Eagles, no runs, 5 hits, and 1 error. The director of tonight's show was Josh Young. Thank you, sir. Breen Yuen on the camera. Robin Frank on the other camera. Tim Erskine making it all work together. Special thanks to Mountain View High School and their administration for use of the facilities. This is Mike Messner reminding you, run for the roses, but don't forget to stop and smell them. So long, everyone.